Stories of Christopher's early history were told to me by my grandparents, whose teen and young adult lives cover the 2 decades just after the turn of the 19th century. They talked about Christopher as a growing community, heavily influenced by Italian and Eastern European immigrants and the beginnings of the local coal mines. As the immigrants became Americanized and the influence of the company store began to lessen, downtown Christopher began to take shape. Sadly, most of Christopher's older and most elegant homes did not survive. These homes are some of the oldest and biggest that did survive. All of these houses are currently occupied except for one. With the help and talent of the HGTV makeover team, they could each be enhanced or brought back to life. So a few years ago, things around here began to change. The old businesses, some of which had been on Market Street for over 70 years, are still here. But they're being joined by new businesses in old buildings started by local residents trying to revive downtown. This mural behind me took an old warehouse door and tried to recreate what Christopher used to look like. We realize that Christopher is not going to return. That doesn't mean that it can't be re-energized into something just as good.
And welcome to my hometown of Christopher, Illinois. We're going to start this tour in this small park area of Christopher, and we'll be moving on throughout the town. We believe that this area would have a lot of potential, as well as many other areas. This is our business district area of Christopher. It's known as our Market Street. Just in the past couple years, we've lost 3 buildings, 2 due to structural fires, and in one of them we even lost a hometown firefighter. Let me show you some of our town. As we continue down Main Street, I would like to point out current businesses and buildings that are still in use. On the corner of the first block is the S&S Tavern, followed by the American Legion, the Ministry for the Broken-Hearted Church, and the Hot Brewery. Across the street is a 2-story apartment building, the Christopher Police Dispatch, and Corzine's Chiropractic. These 2 buildings in particular are very important to myself, as my parents bought these buildings almost 3 years ago now. They're hoping to turn it into an event center. My parents' building is known as the Showroom. Next door is a computer repair shop, followed by Hometown T-shirts. Across the street, you will find Hair Fair Salon, Flat Photography, and Kirk's Pharmacy. These buildings were heavily damaged during one of our fires. All 3 buildings have been restored and beautifully remodeled. Continuing down the block is Robinson Insurance and Sheer Design Salon and Boutique. At the corner of our 3rd block is a very popular place, our Christopher Dairy Queen. You will also find Huey Insurance and Ron's Marathon. On the opposite side of the street, we have Phyllis's Antiques, the VFW Hall, DiMaggio's Pizza, and the Christian Church Hall. On our last block is the Christopher Public Library and Hot Shots Tavern. At the dead end of Market Street is Bione Trucking and Beeves Batting Cages and Softball Training Center. My roots run deep in this town, and my family has worked hard to contribute to it. And now it's my time and my generation's time to step up and put in our part.
Small town has a lot of potential. For me, it's very important that we have a small school and that I feel comfortable with my kids being in the small school setting. And as a teacher, I can get to know the kids And I think that if we can continue to grow that here and to bring more people here, as we can still have that small town camaraderie. We're actually neighbors, and it's just an easy friendship to have. And I think that if we can bring up businesses here in town and bring in more people, that it would be a nice place for people to raise their families.
And you still can go get your cup of sugar from your neighbor. I've done that a few times.
And we are trying to get our community together to start having more awareness of the things going on in the town. And this project with HGTV has made a huge impact and allowed us to bring in lots of community members and business members and the school to come together as a community, because we do want this to sustain and to stay our small little town.
And motivate the rest of the community to help us look towards the future and make it more promising for our kids to enjoy it when they are in adulthood.
When I look at some of our less desirable buildings and areas in town, I don't only see them as they are, I also see them as they used to be and what they could possibly be again.
One thing that really came to me was when we were in a meeting, and it really got to me was a high school student spoke up and, said, even if we're not chosen by HGTV, we started something in our community. And coming from youth, that really made me feel good, and especially as the mayor of this community, to see the youth get involved.
Small town, big dreams.